Hi everybody, thanks for tuning in. Sorry it's been so long since I posted a video. We didn't really want to put up another video until we made some significant progress on the intake manifold. And we have made some good progress. And it ended up being a really long video, so we had to split this up into 2 parts. So stay tuned and check it out. Alright everybody, so we're back from the car show. We took a couple days off because that was just a really long weekend. We had to do a lot to get ready for that. Yeah. So, but Mike got a new engine. Look at that.
Oh yeah. As you can see, there's new rods, new pistons. Of course, it's Wiseco and Eagle. Sorry. Still waking up a little bit today. Just joking. This is Kyle Hemingways, our great friend. A couple years ago he asked me to get this set up for him, and finally getting around to it. Oh, by the way, big shout out to Kyle and Fighting the Phoenix. That is his band. He is the bassist for that band. Go check him out on Instagram and Facebook and everywhere else. I'm sure it's everywhere.
There'll be a link in the description.
Yeah, there'll be a link in the description. This is Kyle's B20. Over here I got his rods and pistons already out. They come in the box. They come as a set, weighed perfectly as a set. I don't know. He'll bring it over here. They're all say 296. I'm sure that's in grams.
Yeah, it's grams.
They're all balanced perfectly. Bada bing, bada boom. But once we get them together, and we're going to, of course, weigh them again after we put them together and see what the tolerances is, and if they're within a half a gram or 1 gram, cool. Anything else than that, we're gonna work on it. So another part, also on the block.
This has been sitting a while.
So yes, this block has been sitting a little while. You can see it's got a DevCon in it, and I'm not saying nothing about nobody else, but it has been previously, somebody else did the work, and Kyle came to me and asked me if I could make this thing work and rock and roll for him. And I said, heck yeah, but here's one problem. I can already tell you, this blocks, they did it wrong. Look, here's an LS gasket. So, kind of get it in the right area, right? Yeah. There's a hole here for water passage and here.
Yeah. And none drilled in the engine.
None here. Now, if I just take this and go like this,
all the holes match up.
So, we're going to, even though this is how it's supposed to be, we're going to work with it, and we're going to put him a hole over here.
Show a few, actually.
Maybe 1 or 2, just to give him some good water passage, just like this over here.
We also make these holes a lot bigger. They are not nearly big enough.
Yeah.
And this one's not in the corner right here, so we're going to have to work on that.
Yep.
And just to let you know, whenever we drill these ones in the corner here, we don't go straight down. You go at a slight angle. You want to actually touch this aluminum part right here. That way you know the water's getting all the way to this corner of the metal to provide it the best cooling. You don't want any hot spots.
Yep. It's actually really strong. It's pretty thick right there on blocks, anyways, from factory. So you can get away with it in the corners.
Yeah, you can take a little bit of aluminum off.
So we're gonna work on that. We're gonna get it all put together and make sure this thing's rocking and rolling for him.
Yep, so Mike's gonna start putting this together. We still have a lot of work to do on this, like I said, and also there's these DevCon parts that are actually sticking up in a few spots. We gotta shave that down. We gotta take a razor blade to that, and then we got a friend who can actually deck that down for us and make it all nice and clean. So we're gonna get going on that, and then we got a lot of work to do to this block. Alright guys, so got Kyle's engine all done, got my car pulled in here. We didn't really have a lot of time to film all that, we just had to get it done. It was just one of those things. So, we got my car pulled in here, we got the old intake taken off, got this all wired wheel down because it was just covered with RTV. And so now, what we gotta do is, the intake I took to the car show is actually broken. I kind of patched it together just to get down to the car show, but this fell off the counter before we had it epoxied, so it had some cracks in it right there. And then while it's on the car ride home, it was kind of jostled around a little bit and it just broke it. So I figured that was going to happen, but I got a new one printed out and this one came out way better. Alright, so that one came out way better, as you guys can see. There's one slight seam right here, but just for a little bit. It's only right there. That's just where I changed the spool a little bit. And I got a new tool, which I hopefully won't have to do that anymore. But right now we're going to give the inside of this a coating with the resin, because we got to seal it, because when you 3D print something with the FDM mode, there's always going to be a lot of little itty bitty microscopic holes in this. So we just got to seal that up, let it soak up. Plus it makes it a lot stronger and stiffer too. So I've got this all sanded down. All we got left to do, wipe it down with some rubbing alcohol. I got some epoxy right here all ready to go. No hardener in it yet. We're going to wait till that. And then we're going to brush on the inside. And then after it's all brushed nice and sloppy, take a nice little foam brush here, and we're going to use that to soak up any of the excess. I would like to vacuum bag it with the peel ply and everything to soak up all the excess, give it a really nice finish. But we just don't have the stuff for that right now. You just got to do it the hard way. I'm going to get wiping this down, and we're going to get it coated with resin, and see how far we get tonight. Alright guys, so I got 2 coats of epoxy on here. I've sanded it down nice and good. Before I go any further, what I need to do, I need to put epoxy on this flange facing right here. I've avoided doing that, so you got the inside done as well. But I need to put epoxy on this flange facing right here. And what I'm going to do is, I got this aluminum sheet I have left over, laid out, got it spaced off the ground high enough, just so I can get a nice flat surface. And I've got the wax paper all set up on here, and after I get a nice thick coat of epoxy on this, I'm going to set it down on that to cure. And what that'll do is hopefully give me a really nice flat face. So right now there's all kinds of little grooves and stuff in here that, just from the 3D print that I can't really get out by sanding. What I'm going to do is put a nice thick coat of resin on here, and then when I lay it down on that, it should make a nice flat finish on this. I'm probably going to do some sanding still to get it perfect, but that'll get me a lot closer than, all these little tiny grooves and stuff and these little pits that I have in here just from the 3D printing process. so it's been a few hours. I'm gonna go ahead and try and pull this off. Nice glue surface. Oh yeah, look at that. Nice and flat, smooth, a little bit of ridge right here. I knew I was gonna have to sand it down regardless, but that was gonna save me a lot of time there. Alright guys, we just got back from Denver. We were sizing up one of these manifolds for a mystery client, and we can't talk about who just yet, but I'm sure you'll notice it when you see it.
Also one of the first J-Series manifolds to go out of this garage.
Yep.
Yep.
We only took it up there to test fit. We didn't actually sell them one, but because I got to change a couple things, that's why I wanted to go up there and just check it, make sure it's going to work with his setup. Because his plenum actually points that way, so I don't want to go down into. But his turbo is actually up front up here. I might have given too much away already. But anyways, my manifold current design, this tilts down to 45 degrees just because I have mine over here, and that's just the way it works. We're only going to do his at 35 degrees, take 10 degrees off it, and it's going to be perfect. So, but right now, what we're doing, we're going to try to get this O-ring all set up in here because this is about ready to pressure test. I have this bolted down just so it doesn't move while we're doing this. There's no gasket in there, I just got it down. It's not tight. There's something in there. Anyways, we're going to try and take rubber cement, and we're going to gently just put a very thin coating in the bottom of this groove all the way around. And we're going to let it tack up for a little bit, let it dry slightly, and then that way we can put this O-ring in here, and it'll actually stay in at least long enough for me to put a metal block on there, one section at a time.
As it's being ran around, yeah.
So we're going to get started on this, and, wish us luck, because this is the first time we've ever tried something like this, so.
Next step, something new.
Alright guys, here's where we're at. So, we got the throttle body plate all glued and screwed to the plenum. We went ahead and cut just a regular basic gasket out of some gasket paper just to test with. So yeah, we're going to loosen up all these bolts to lift the valve rockers off of the valves, and that way the valves will stay closed. That way none of the air goes down past the valves and past the piston rings, because that's the issue we were having last time. We were trying to pressure stress this thing, to see where it breaks. We only got it to like 4 or 5 psi because of all the pressure was just going right past the piston rings. So, but we got the O-ring all glued in right here. And we're going to see how this goes. I do have a backup plan just in case that O-ring doesn't work out. Working on it right now. And we're going to see what happens. Alright guys, so we got it all bolted together. Got the boost leak tester on it. Like I said, the valve train is loose. So all the intake valves are closed, so nothing should get past that. So it helps us build a little bit more pressure. We did get a slight crack over here, but it's only on the surface. I don't think it went through all the way. But we're about to test this thing out. We're just going to put a couple pounds on it at first and just see how she does. She's looking over here.
Yeah. Right there. One spot. That's it. Well, for only having one spot for the first time on this kind of a gasket, not bad.
Might end up doing RTV. We'll see. So I got a couple more tricks up my sleeve, so. Hit it again? Yeah, it's still leaking. Right here. Same spot.
And same spot.
Well, the throttle body always leaks.
Okay, but nowhere else. But nowhere else.
It's probably
What do you think?
You can get a little tighter, or you want to just go straight RTV?
Well, we can take it back off.
Yeah, we gotta take it back
Take
apart.
it off.
Hold on, let me try and tighten this one down a little bit more. It's pretty tight. Throttle body's solid.
No noises there.
Well, you just want to see how much pressure we can put it under? We get the car turned on so you hear the fan. That way I can see the boost gauge on the inside of the car. It will still read. Alright, so the compressor wasn't going fast enough, so what we're doing, we just aired the compressor up all the way, and we're just going to dump it. Mike, we'll get behind some cover.
I'm not going to dump, but I'm going to bring it in pretty good. I'm going to bring it in about 25% right.
Compressor.
Alright, here we go.
Hey.
It's opening. It's all open. It's all the way.
Where's it leaking?
Keep it on. Go. Same spot. Oh, it's leaking all the way around the front, yeah. Look out.
Right in that front end.
Yeah.
RTV.
Okay, cool. Let it blow up.
Okay, so quick update. It was leaking from this spot right here, and I kind of suspected it might do that just because this right here has the biggest gap between bolts and it's on a curve. So O-ring wasn't working out. It was actually making the manifold crack slightly right here on the front of the bolts because there is no support right there because the O-ring kind of zigzags around that way, around the backside. So what we did, went down to the store, got some really quick setting RTV.
You know what else I thought would be a good idea?
What's that?
If you hook your laptop up, maybe log it and see what your thingy tells you on your log, how many PSI it reached.
That's actually not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea at all. We should do that. All right, so we let it cure overnight. It was taking a while to get hard, so we just, ended up going to bed and give it its best chance this morning. It seems pretty hard. We got 2 gauges hooked up to right here. One is a really high pressure gauge, goes up to 200 psi, and for some more fidelity, we got this one that goes up to 30 psi, all hooked up to it. And Mike had a really good idea. We're gonna do the laptop with the data logging.
Data logging, yep. See if it climbs on there.
Got the sensors all hooked up. Got, let's see, car's turned on. Air compressor's all filled. Yep. So we're gonna go ahead and get the computer ready, and we're gonna go give this a whirl. All right, she's logging.
All right. We'll give it a little bit at first, just to kind of give it some and then stop.
Oh, that gauge moved almost immediately.
Ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, it's climbing. Oh, it's climbing. That's
10.
it. Wide open.
13.
Dude, your gauge over there is all the way up.
Yeah, it's at 10. We're at 14.4.
Alright, well that's wide open.
Just throttle body.
This right here.
Oh, it's leaking over here.
I think the plate on the bottom is leaking a little.
It is. Plate on the bottom. Alright, yeah.
Just a little bit, just a wee guy over here.
Alright, kill the pressure.
Throttle body.
Yep, kill the pressure. It's a lot better though. Now we gotta take it off. So it is leaking from right down here on this. I'm not sure if it's on the plate or the throttle, the plenum gasket's leaking for some reason. Well, take it all apart. I'm gonna take that plate off, and it's only RTV'd right now. I wanted it only RTV'd just so it could be temporary, and so we're gonna take it off and we're gonna epoxy it, get it all nice on there.